Welcome to the Mindset Architect Podcast, where it's all about creating the life you want, the business you want, and making a real difference. Join us in unlocking the code to true success. And now your host, Tony Caliendo, Master Coach with Rethink Coaching.
Welcome to the Mindset Architect Podcast, episode number 56. I'm Tony Caliendo, Master Coach here at Rethink Coaching. And as always, thank you so much for being here. Time is our most valuable gift. And the fact that you're willing to spend some of your time with me truly does mean a lot. And my commitment is to make it valuable for you. So today, I'm talking about your future. And I'm talking about your future in a way that you maybe haven't thought about it ever. And I want you to consider something. Your future is yours. You decide if you want to create it or if you want to live it by default. It's 100% up to you. You get to make that decision. Either way, either decision that you make, you're going to get that result. So you either get it by default or you get it by intention. I want to share with you a couple of things before we dive in. And I really want to stress the importance of this podcast to help you create the future that you've always dreamt of, and doing it in a way that is so incredibly powerful and so much fun along the way. I want to share something from one of my favorite thought leaders, Joe Dispenza. He talks to us, and I learned this years ago, and it has really stuck with me, and it has been a game changer for myself and my clients when we listen to his words. Thoughts are the language of the brain, and feelings are the language of your body. And I'm saying this because this is where we're headed about our future, is that when you get these two things in alignment, right? The thoughts that you're having that are the language of your brain, and the feelings you're having, which is the language of your body, you get these two things in alignment, magic truly happens. At least it feels like magic. I can't explain it. It's such an incredible way to experience business and life. When you do this, thoughts and feelings in alignment and get congruent, you start vibrating in a completely different way, and results suddenly are drawn to you. Things show up differently than they maybe ever have for you in the past. It doesn't feel like it's such a struggle to move to your future, to move towards the goal, to move towards the life that you've always wanted. That struggle feels less when you embrace the concepts that I'm going to teach you today in this podcast. So I want to make something really, really clear. And I don't want there to be any confusion. I am a business coach. And sometimes people ask me, why do you spend time working on so many things about thought and mind management? And I'll tell you that it's because without it, in your business, you're going to continue to hit a ceiling of success. These two things are really, really important. So as a business coach, I always coach through the lens of business, always. Yet when we infuse these other elements, it allows my clients, and hopefully you today, to achieve new heights, to receive different level of achievement, and actually start to see how you can make your future and your dreams come true for yourself in your business, for yourself in your life. So know that right now, if you are that person, so if you're a real estate professional, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're an executive with a company, I'm today in this podcast making the assumption that you know what to do in your business, that we don't have to talk about the basic business strategies. We are going to talk about your pathway to success. So please just know that I'm not avoiding it or not ignoring it. This is an element that so many people are missing in the equation to success, that once you get this, it's going to change things. So I am really, really motivated and excited about today's subject for you on the podcast. It's one that's going to take us a bit longer to get through. So I'm just going to preface that. This is going to be a little bit longer than my normal, yet it is worth it for you to listen all the way to the end, because there are nuggets all the way through that if you pay attention and you do the work, I promise you, you'll get different results than you've ever got before, and your future will become your reality. It's just how it will be. This is one that you're probably going to want to take some notes on, pause, do a little bit of the work as we're going through. And I will tell you, that's what I had to do when I first learned it. This was a concept that took me a while to process because it changes everything about the way that you think about how you're going to get to your future. So this one is truly a game changer. You may have to listen to it multiple times, and you might want to take some notes on this one because I'm going to give you some specific instructions on how to make that your future, your reality in a way that you've never done before. So I want to make today's podcast really powerful, as you can tell. That is my intention. And I want to do a quick refresh on the thought flow model because it's going to play a small part in today's discussion. And so if you are familiar with, if you've listened to me ever before, you know that the thought flow model is one of the game changers for me and for my clients. In the thought flow model is simply circumstance creates thought, thoughts generate feelings, emotions, and energy. That drives us to take or not take action, which then creates the results that we receive. So if you're not familiar with this model, or you just want to refresh, go listen to episode number 1. It will help you absorb today's podcast at a deeper, higher level. But just know that it's always in that order: circumstance, thoughts, feelings, actions, and results. That is the thought flow model. My goal for you today, though, is to see how you can truly feel your way into action so that you can receive your true vision of your future and of what you've always dreamt of. So before you go, oh, this is a little woo-woo, I want you to really pay attention to this. If you just think about the thought flow model, right? Feelings drive actions and results. And if I can get you to see that you can feel your way into action at a really high level by dealing with our future, it's going to be what you need, or maybe that missing piece that you've been looking for to have that breakthrough that you've wanted for a while. So I just want you to know this. I firmly believe this. Some people might get annoyed at this and think that I'm not being realistic, but I know this to be true. If you are here and you want to earn $1 million and have that income as your goal, you can. If you want to have the life you've dreamt of, you can. If you want to have a relationship that you've never had, but you know exactly what you want, you can have that. This podcast, this episode is going to teach you that you can achieve whatever you want with zero limitations. Now, if people doubt this, if people are like, it doesn't work, it's because they haven't done the work, or that their brain is so busy blocking them from this possibility that they're not able to see it. I do not want that to be you. So I'm going to ask that you just lean into this today, take from it the lessons about how we're going to do this, and that you're going to be able to have that future that you've always wanted, that feel good space to live in, to be more in a place of great emotions than negative. So you can create the future you desire. I truly do mean that. It's not up to circumstances. So I want us to think about this, right? When we think about the thought flow model, it's circumstance, thoughts, feelings, actions, results. Sometimes we feel like the circumstance is happening to us, okay? What I want to invite you to think about is through our thoughts, we really are controlling the circumstances that impact us. So it doesn't just happen to you. You're participating in it, whether it's consciously or unconsciously, because the truth is all circumstances that you experience are directly connected to the thoughts that you have. My question, though, for you today, and this is what is going to set the tone for the rest of this podcast, is we're going to take the thought flow model and we're going to put a little different twist on it. And normally we want to look at, hey, if I'm not getting the action, if I'm not taking the action that I need to take to get the result, I need to go look at my feelings, and I need to look at the thoughts that created those feelings, reframe the thought, and then it changes everything. That is still very true. But today, I want us to take a look at how we can change our circumstance and how we can have a bigger impact on the life that we want to have. So I want to ask you this. How much time do you allow for your thoughts to be focused on your future? You know, we spend a lot of time as business owners and humans that are wanting to live a better life, looking at our past, looking at like, what did we do wrong? What could have we done better? What was great? What sucked? What was amazing? And our right now, in terms of what's our current goals, what are we currently doing? What are we frustrated about? What are we experiencing that's not positive? We spend the bulk of our time in the past and in the right now. Some of you may not think that's a bad thing, and it's not a horrible thing, But when we neglect to spend time in our future, we are stealing from ourselves and we're really setting ourselves up for tremendous limitations. Where you park your thoughts is exactly where you're going to receive and what you're going to receive in business and life. So if I were to ask you the question, and I want you to think about it, how much time do you really allow yourself to think about your future? To really, really think about it at a deep, deep, deep level. What would your answer be? If it makes you feel any better, average person spends less than 10%, most people less than 5% of their time. Do they allow themselves to dream about or spend thinking about their future? And so if you think about this, less than 10% of our time is spent there. That means 90% of our time is spent in the now and the past. And if that is your truth, you're going to do an amazing job of recreating your past, recreating previous income, recreating and experiencing a lot of the same feelings and emotions and the habitual thinking that you've had that has maybe held you to a certain income level or a certain level of success or a certain experience in life. It's just the way it has to be, right? If we're spending 95% of our time in the now and the past, that's what we're going to get more of, the now and the past. Remember, as humans, we have 60,000 thoughts a day. 80% are negative, 95% are repetitive. This is probably the exact reason why some of us are having the same year over and over and over, even though we strive to do more, because if we're having 95% of our thoughts being repetitive, it's the now or the past. So if you're struggling to have a breakthrough, this podcast is for you. The most basic way I can explain the feeling that you get to have when you live more in your future and you want to experience that is when you are writing your annual business or life plan. Most of us do it in a 12-month chunk. We tend to do it October, November, of the end of the year. So we're coming up on it where we're forecasting our upcoming year. And I will tell you, during that time is when it is filled with great excitement, a lot of positive emotions, a ton of motivation, a lot of good things because we can see what our future is going to be. And we live in that a little bit when we think, okay, when I sell 50 homes instead of 30, when we sell 200 homes instead of 100, this is the result we're going to get. And this is what we're going to get to experience. And that is what it feels like to live in your future or to think in your future. Those feelings and emotions that you create during that time that you're writing that business plan are the things that will motivate you beyond measure. Now, here's the funny part, not funny, haha, but the funny part about it is we do the business plan, we have those feelings and emotions, we're super, super, super excited about our future, and then we move to the now and we move to the past. Well, my God, last year I didn't do this and I didn't do this year and I failed at that and now I'm doing this and it's not working and I'm frustrated. We tend to spend that time there and we are robbing ourselves of our potential future because for whatever reason, once we're done with that plan and we go to real life, we put away our future and we stop living into it. And that is the biggest tragedy of all of this if you truly do want to have a different experience than you're having. You see, what happens a lot of times when I'm coaching somebody is they might say to me, you know, Tony, I've lost my motivation. I hear that a bit and I'm like, well, let's go find it, right? I mean, I don't know how you lose it, but people do lose their motivation. That's the words that they use. And here's what I know to be true. If they're coming to me saying that they lost their motivation, they're no longer motivated to do the work, in my mind, all I am thinking about is that they've given up on future thinking. They stop thinking about the possibility and not only thinking about it, living in it and experiencing in what it would be like, who they would be, what they would be experiencing, including all the feel goods that go along with it. And they've surrendered to a rinse and repeat kind of business, right? That same thing. It's this, I've made the same amount of money the last 3 years. I failed on my goal the last 3 years. I keep doing the same limits the last 3 years. It's that rinse and repeat. And it really is just because they've lost their motivation because they've let go of or they've detached from that future that they were so excited about when they did their business plan. So when you allow yourself to feel the end goal, to feel what it would be like when you're in the goal of achieving it as if it's already happened, you're creating an experience, a completely different feeling that's happening in your brain. And this is truly when you feel the most excited and motivated, when you allow yourself to live in the space of the future as if you've accomplished the goal and desires that you have. But we, again, put that feeling away a lot and get busy on the action. We tend to get busy wanting the goal versus being connected to and believing in it and being in it. We move to a want emotion. We want the goal. We've detached from it. And it's this thing hanging out in the future. And what I know about want is a lack emotion. It's an emotion of lack or scarcity. And when we live in that space, when we've detached from the future, like it's just this thing, again, it is when we are robbing ourselves of a lot of really positive emotions that can create the motivation and cause you to do the actual work and to get to that goal. So I want you to think about something. So think about a goal that you've achieved in the past. I really want you to get this. I want you to think about a goal that you set for yourself and you achieved. I don't care if it's financial. I don't care if it's personal, if it was a weight loss goal, if it was a relationship goal, if it was a money goal, great. Whatever that is. And I want you to think about that goal and what it felt like when you achieved it, when you were actually living in it, like, it's done. I did this thing. I lost the 20 pounds. I met the person that I want to spend the rest of my life with. I'm living exactly the life that I wanted to live when I set out and set this goal. And you're living in it, not detached from it. You're in it. I want you to anchor to those feelings, right? Because you're going to settle into an emotion or a feeling, most likely of accomplishment, peace, joy, happiness, pride, contentment, jubilation, excitement, whatever it is. I want you to really sit in that and feel that, because that is the clearest way I can get you to connect to how you get to be, and how you get to be is being in that versus detached from and wanting it. There's a huge difference. I have a lot of people that come to me and say, oh my gosh, I believe 100% that I can make $1 million and I can grow my real estate business, and their believability is off the hook, but they're detached from it in a way that they're not allowing themselves to be in it and experience who they would be, how they would be. They're detached from it in a way that it is just a belief and not a reality. So know this: when you get this and you are able to be and experience who you'd be on a different level because you achieved the goal, that future experience, you can pull it into the now, right? I mean, rather than want it and put it out there in the future and not allow ourselves to feel it, you can actually feel it now. And feeling it now is huge, right? You're pulling that future into your now. You're creating a very different vision for yourself of your future. When you go into that future and you think of thoughts of having and experiencing the result or the win, you're creating that emotion for yourself right now. You're creating the feeling you desire and you're going to have when you complete and reach your future now. And I want you to think about that, right? You're creating the emotion. You're creating the feeling. Your brain is feeling it like it's for real. It's happening right now. And what do we know about the thought flow model? Feelings, energies, and emotion impact actions and results. So if you allow yourself to experience this new set of emotions and feelings as if it's already happened, and your brain can't tell the difference between real and make-believe, this is one time that's really beneficial, you are going to experience a whole different vibration. The vibration that you experience in your future will actually move you forward in a much more powerful manner. Your thoughts, feelings, and actions are going to be different. Your vibration will attract things to you. And in this case, what you're attracting to you is your future. I just love this because I've watched this happen with so many clients that come to me And they're experiencing that detachment, right? They're so caught up in the now. They're so caught up in the past, and they're not allowing themselves to experience all of the good feels of their future as if it's already happened. They're not allowing their brain to experience that, because once your brain experiences and feels that, that becomes real. That becomes a real potential. That becomes your true possibility. And when clients get this, right, thoughts, language of the brain, feelings are the language of the body. When they get this connection, things start to happen. I just want you to think of all the amazing emotions that you get to create and experience in your future. When you lean into this, you get to feel motivated. You get to feel like it's fun. You're proud. You're worthy. You're whole and complete. You're free. You're joyful, blissful, peaceful. All of those things. These are really powerful emotions, and certainly more motivating than perhaps what you're feeling in your right now emotions. I mean, you think about it, if I'm stuck in the right now and the past, and I've given up on the future's just this thing that's out there, and my business isn't exactly where I want it to be. I'm not getting the results I wanted. I'm a little bit behind on goal. I'm going to be experiencing feelings and emotions that are not exactly positive and not exactly encouraging, right? I might be frustrated. I might be scared. I might be angry. I might be ready to give up. And if I stay in that very long, guess what's going to happen? That's what's going to happen. Those emotions that I'm experiencing are driving my actions and my results. And so if you drop into your future, your brain is going to experience a different set of emotions than you're feeling right now. You can then, when you're in that space and have those different feelings and emotions and you might be experiencing right now, is when you are creative beyond measure, when you are able to strategize at a level that you've maybe never been able to strategize before, because you're thinking bigger, you're thinking differently, you are in a place that is so different than the now. It's also important to make note of the feelings and emotions that when you're experiencing those again in the future, that those may not be, again, the typical emotions you're feeling now or in the past. So I really want you to, as we go through this exercise together and I outline how you're going to do this, I really want you to journal and write down those new or those really empowering emotions, because we're going to need those in the now. We're going to need to tap into those in the now to have that breakthrough, to not have a repeat year, to not have a repeat life, to do what you want to do. I know some people think I'm crazy by saying this, but I really mean this. You truly can be whatever you want to be. If you want to make $1 million, let's go make $1 million. I don't believe there's limits other than the limits we put on ourselves. And a lot of times the limits that we're imposing on ourselves are coming from our beliefs, not necessarily our actions, because our beliefs are going to drive our action. So here's what I would say to get to work on this. You know, if you're like the average person, and I don't like to use that word because I hate labels, but if you're like the typical person, you don't spend a lot of time in the future, this is what I'm going to want you to do. I'm going to want you to just relax into this and work with me. I'm going to walk you through this process that allows you to do it in a different way than maybe you've ever done in the past. So step number 1 on this journey is getting really clear about what you want your future to be. And if you've worked with me for any amount of time, you probably have heard me ask you, are you crystal clear? Are you so clear about what your future looks like that there's nothing blocking your way? Nothing. No money, nothing. Nothing is blocking your way, no thoughts, whatever. You're crystal clear on how you're going to get there. And it's so abundantly clear that you can see further than you've ever seen before. You know, I liken it to your car windshield. You know, a lot of time your windshield is clean, but you know, after a rain or you've used the washer fluid, there's edges of the windshield that are still dirty that your wipers can't get to. And while you can see, you're impacted a little bit. It's not quite as clear as when you go through a car wash and you come out and the entire windshield is clean and you have a bigger vision, you have a clearer vision. That's what I want you to get to when you're thinking about your future, that it is so crystal clear that there's nothing blocking your way from seeing it. Nothing. And it's really important to be clear on what you want your future to look like. And I've used this example before, but I'm going to use it again. I want you to be so freaking clear. It's like you and I going out to dinner together and we go to a steakhouse. And I've said this before and you might be rolling your eyes, but pay attention. The person comes over to take our order. You order exactly what you want. You want a ribeye made medium rare. You want a loaded baked potato with it. You want creamed spinach, and you place your order. They ask me what I want, and I say, you know what? I came here. I want dinner. And that's the order that I place. When they come back with our food, there's a really good chance, because you were crystal clear. You didn't just say, I want a ribeye and 2 sides. You said how you wanted the ribeye, the 2 sides that you wanted. You were crystal clear. Chances are you're going to get what you ordered. Me, on the other hand, I'm getting what I ordered. I ordered dinner. So whatever they bring me that they view as dinner is what I'm going to get, because I wasn't crystal clear. That's how I want you to think about your future. So an example, sometimes people will come to me and say, I want to make more money. And they think that that's being clear about what they have in mind for their future. Tony, I just want to make more money. And I reach in my pocket and I give them a $1 bill. And I say, congratulations, you just made more money. They were not crystal clear in what they wanted their future to be. Crystal clear is, I want to make $1 million in the next 12 months. And then diving down on exactly where it's going to come from: buyers, sellers, investments, flips, rentals, whatever it is, but getting crystal clear on the dollar amount, the timeline to it. Because again, if I say I want to make $1 million, well, over the next 5 years, chances are I'll make $1 million. But if I want to make $1 million in 12 months, I need to be crystal clear about it, to really leave there no interpretation for the universe, God, whoever you believe in, to interpret what you're saying. We've got to be really, really clear. Now, here's the other thing that I know. As you go to do this, it's not unusual to have a whole bunch of doubt coming up in your mind, in your little brain, to be trying to seduce you into not doing something different because it views it as dangerous. And it might be trying to get you to have doubt. Why do you think you can do that? This is really crazy. You've never done it before. What makes you can do it? And you start to have this flood of doubt and this flood of thoughts. So here's what I'm going to say. Don't think about that. Let it go. We're not here to talk about the how. We're just creating our future. We're not worried about the how right now. We're not worried about any of that stuff. So just thank your little brain. Thank you for that thought. It's not relevant right now. I'm going to let it go. Thank you for protecting me. It's time to move on and move on. Once you have that clarity, which is really important, crystal clear about all elements of your future, not just money, all elements of your future. I want you to spend some time asking yourself how you would be, not what you would buy, how you would be. I want you to experience the feeling and the emotion, right? I want you to think about your life. Like, how would you be on the daily? So let's just take, for example, we set a goal to make $1 million in a segment of our company. And if I'm living into that, and when I live into that, it's already happened, and I can see the $1 million on the line item in our spreadsheet, in our financial reports, who do I get to be? Who would I be when I wake up? Who would I be when I'm greeting my coworkers? Who would I be when I'm at lunch or with dinner? Who would I be with my spouse? Who would I be at the end of the day? How would I be about enjoying dinner? How you would be when you're driving? I want you to get into the experience of it. Not like, oh my gosh, I'd go get this car and I'd buy that house and I would do this. It's not about what you can do. I want you to lean into who you will be, because that creates the emotions that we need to have that future become your now. This is going to be the driver that's going to get you into action differently. So this is where I want you to really stop and take some notes. The more time you spend in this and in your future space versus your present, you're going to feel a shift. You just are. The two worlds, this future and your now. The future, when you live into it and you believe in it and you experience who you would be and you pull on those emotions and those feelings, is going to pull your now to it. It's not going to come down. It's going to pull your now up to it. And you're going to experience magic, at least what feels like magic. So I do want you to spend some time with the who you would be. And I want you to make that list of your future to be all encompassing, to not just be money, relationship, lifestyle, whatever it is that you're looking for, a new relationship, to better your existing relationship, to have a certain lifestyle, to have a certain level of income, whatever that is. I want you to just have fun with this. Just dump out everything about your future that you want, everything about your future that you want, and then get clear about it. Get really clear. What is the lifestyle? What does that look like? Is it living in multiple cities? Is it living in a particular area? Is it the ability to give to charities? What is the lifestyle that you want? Get really, really, really specific and really just dump all of those things out, all of it, what you want, because we're creating our future now. And so this is one of the little plot twists that's going to get you to take action in a different way. Remember, thoughts, feelings, actions, results. So that list that you've made about your future, and we're crystal clear, right? I want you to have that in front of you. And if we're living in our future and experience these things, it's possible that these things become our new circumstances. What? Yeah. Stick with me. If we move into our future, now we can't travel through time, right? We can move our future to experiencing it now and let our brain have that experience. But if we treat our future as if it's already happened, right? That's a result. That's all it is. It's a result. I have the $1 million. I see it on the line item. It's in our business account, in that specific account for that division of the company. I see it. It's done. It's a result. Now, if I make that result my new circumstance, it's the game changer. Remember I said you create your circumstances. So if I take that result and I make it my circumstance, I made $1 million. Does that change thoughts, feelings, actions, and results? You better believe it does. You better believe it does. It allows us to alter our thoughts so we can feel that certain way and create action. The result of your future is just your new circumstance, team. And when you flip this model like that, it will blow your mind, and you'll be able to blow your own mind because you're going to look at this so differently. That results your new circumstance. I'm in the relationship of my dreams. I met this person that has these qualities that is exactly what I forecasted for my future. Now that result is my circumstance. I have it. I'm experiencing those emotions in a very different way. This is going to impact your actions and your results. This is so important because when you return to now, you're most likely not going to have those feelings that you had in your future. But this is where people get in trouble. This is where people detach. They go back to the now so much and they just want to get into action and really dive in, and they put that future as the detachment. It's going to happen some point in the future. And we get so caught up in the now and the past that we drop those positive feelings and emotions that are going to make a difference on our actions and results and our circumstance. I want you to think about this. A lot of professional athletes do this. I've had the privilege of talking to several. I've been in rooms where they're interviewed and they're with their coaches. And for example, like golfers, a lot of times will visualize their drives, their chips, and their putts. One golfer in particular wears headset, and it is the noise of the ball dropping into the cup. They are creating their future as if it's already happened. Their future is the ball in the cup, and they're experiencing it. And they're getting to experience those feelings and emotions as if it's already happened, which now is changing thoughts, feelings, actions, and results. And when they go to chip or they go to putt or they go to drive, they've done it 1 million times in their brain. And so when they go to do it, they've done it in their future. And it's already done in a successful way that now when they go to do it, it's old hat. They've done it so many times that they can step into it and have their best shots ever. This is the same thing about you living into your future and knowing what that is, knowing what that shot is. If it's the chip, then we know the future and we plan it and we feel it and we act as if it's already happened. They've practiced it over and over. Getting clarity around your future is truly the thing that will change. Spending more time in your future allows you to own your future as your property. That's what Dan Sullivan teaches us, and I believe it to be true. Your future is coming regardless. Don't you want it to be the future you desire, that life by intention, not by default? So I'll share with you, when I first started doing this has been years that I have been doing this. At first, it was a little different, right? And I too had some doubts. I'm like, well, you've never made this kind of money. Your family didn't, that's not the family you came from. That's not the environment you came from. It's not the education you have. All of those things were going through my head. But I trusted this process and I created my future, and I was very, 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 very specific about it. And I can remember just a couple weeks into it, maybe a month and a half into it. I know it was less than 90 days. I was having a conversation with my coach and I said, out of the blue, this is so weird. Out of the blue, I had a broker reach out to me and they asked me to do the following. They asked me to conduct a group coaching program for them with 30 of their agents. And it's nobody I'd ever talked to. I didn't even really know who this person was. It was just so random. It's so cool. And my coach stopped me and said, it's not out of the blue. It's a direct result of the vibration you created by living into your future, by allowing yourself to spend time in your future and have fun with it, to enjoy all the feel goods of it, has created a way that you're showing up and you're vibrating differently in the actions that you're taking and the results that you're getting. There was nothing random about this. It truly is related to your vibrations and your feelings. I have a blast living in my future. Oh my God, I have so much fun because I'm in it as if I've achieved it. And it is such a great feeling. And it is the thing that has changed. So this one thing for you might be the thing that allows you that breakthrough, might be the thing that allows you to have the life that you wanted to have, might be the thing that impacts your lifestyle, your finances, your relationship, your fun, your love, whatever it is that you want for your future. This is the tool that can change it. So like any other tool or resource that I've shared with you, it's going to take practice. It is going to take practice. It's a new muscle. It's a new process. It's going to take you silencing your brain that's trying to convince you that this is not possible, and other people that are like, you're crazy. I can't tell you the number of people who've told me that I'm ridiculous, that I'm coaching and telling people they can be whatever they want to be. And so it's going to take you a moment because that primitive brain of yours, it's doing its best job to protect you from doing something different. So it's going to take a while. This is why I said this podcast is going to require you to pause, do some work, get clear about your future, get crystal clear about what you want, live into that future often, and extract those feelings and emotions. Then take that result, that future goal that you've achieved, and make it your new circumstance. It's mind-blowing, team. It really is. This is what's going to change it. But you've got to step into living into your future more often than 5% or 10% of your time. Now, I do want to create some reality here. I can't live in my future 95% of the time and only live in my now 5, because chances are I'm not going to get anything done. I'm going to feel good until the reality comes crashing down that I didn't spend enough time in my now, bringing the feelings and emotions and the circumstances that I've created by living in my future to my now. So you've got to have a balance. But what I do know is it is undervalued what it's like to live in your future. And it is a driver to success. I love the thought of my future is done. I've achieved it. I've got the goal, and that is now my circumstance. I made $1 million in the group coaching division of Rethink Coaching, and I see the $1 million in that account. I love the improving my marriage and relationship and making it fun and making it everything that I want it to be as already done. And that's my new circumstance. I have the most amazing marriage. I love taking those things and making my future my current reality, and taking and using all of those emotions to create different actions and results. And you perform at such a higher level. This is one of the key changes that you can do. So many of my clients who have used this exercise are living such a different life, such an abundance in their business, such an abundance in their world. It's bigger than they even imagined it to be. I just love the power of living in your future. Your future is your property. When your thoughts and your feelings can get in alignment, the vibration that you put out and what you attract to yourself and your business is sometimes mind-blowing. Like, I want you to go blow your own freaking minds. I want you to go out into the world, live into your future, and blow your own mind at what you're able to do, because I will stand on this to the day I die. You can do and be whatever you want to be, period. If it's becoming a millionaire, become a millionaire. If it's becoming in a healthy relationship, do it. You can do whatever you want to do. So like anything else, team, this is going to take some work. I apologize that this was a little longer episode, but it's full of powerful exercises, and you may have to listen to it over and over. I will tell you, when I understood the one concept that my result of my future already done and all the feelings and emotions has now become my new circumstance, boy, did that change how I got to show up in my now. It changed everything. And that is the one piece that I really want you to get today. I want you to understand that model at a really high level. Circumstance, thought, feeling, action, results. I want you to use that model in your future, that you've got the result that you set out to get, that you're experiencing it. It's a done freaking deal. You're experiencing the peace, the joy, the achievement, the happiness, the accomplishment, the freedom, whatever those emotions are. And you're bringing it back because your new circumstance is that task is done. That is your new circumstance. It's just a fact. And you're bringing those emotions with you, which if we're going to skip over the thought line for now, if we go right to the feeling, emotion, and energy, that is going to blow things up for you. And you're going to take action from a different place. You're going to be motivated like you've never been motivated before. You're not going to lose your motivation. It's not going to fall off a shelf and get lost. You're going to be really clear on your motivation. So I want this for you. Really, 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 I want this for you. I can't want it for you more than you want it for you. So I'm going to invite you to do the work. If you have any questions, please reach out to me, Tony@rethinkcoaching.com. You can find me on all the socials, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all the usual suspects. And you can send me a direct message. You can Google me and find my cell phone. I look forward to helping you out, team. Make it a great week. If you enjoyed listening to this podcast, you must come check out the Mindset Architect Group Coaching Program. It's our monthly program where we explore the power of your mindset, help you identify what you truly want in business and life, and then help you reach those goals. Come check us out at rethinkcoaching.com/group-program. That's rethinkcoaching.com/group-program. We'll see you there.